So I wasn't gonna do a video on this, but I'm I'm just gonna make a little couple quick comments about this whole Michael Jackson leaving Neverland thing. And I'm not gonna make this a long video. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this yet, but I probably will just because it just shows the state of the world that we're in. But we got this leaving Neverland video or documentary. I put that in air quotes. And it's when Jimmy Shafechuk and Wade Robson, or Wade Robson, however you want to say his name, I'm going to call him Robson. Wade Robson say that Michael Jackson molested them as kids. And it's really funny because, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I'm unapologetic. I've done my research on the 93 case. I already knew back in '05 with the '05 trial, which, I was coming out of high school at that point. I could tell by those details that it was a lie. But hearing Wade Robson and Jimmy Shafechuk is it's hilarious to me because those of us who've been in the Jackson camp and the people who've been defending Michael Jackson since either day one or for me back when he started to come back out in 2000 2001, we've kind of used the testimony of Jimmy Shafechuk and Wade Robson as evidence that Michael Jackson didn't do anything. Now here they are saying that oh no, Michael Jackson didn't molest me. And both do so after Michael Jackson's dead. As full-grown adults. Like, are you serious? Well, that's not really the point of why I'm doing this video. Because, I saw online, somebody commented under a YouTube video saying, at this point when it comes to Michael Jackson, if you still think Michael Jackson touched kids, it's just because you want to believe it. And all the evidence is out there that he's innocent. And, that's really true. Because, somebody came across my page trolling. I mean, it's one of my notorious Facebook trolls. Saying that, yeah, Michael Jackson touched little kids, and there's all these children who said that he did. And it's there's not all these children. It was only a handful, right? And this was in allusion to the 93 case. Because, the 93 case is what everyone likes to reference when it comes to Michael Jackson being a child molester. And the funny thing is that everyone loves referencing that case as to how, oh, Michael Jackson paid off the family and blah, 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 blah. But then when you actually look up the case, first off, that never went to actual criminal trial. Well, one, that there was not a lot of corroborating evidence. And, two, what was it? Yeah, I don't know exactly how this works, but some insurance company paid the family off because they figured it was a better endeavor than going to actual civil and criminal court to fight the charges. And because Michael Jackson was ready to fight through and through, and was just yeah, I'm innocent, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it, or there's nothing you can pin on me, et cetera and so forth. But the story that I've always gone with, which I'm still gonna go with, because I just watched an interview with Brandy Jackson, Michael's niece, and she said that it never went to trial because Jordy Chandler refused to testify. Of course, this was after the $20 million was paid to his Jordy Chandler's dad and mom. But she said it never went to trial. I thought it went to trial under the civil or under criminal court, which is because it is a federal crime to commit such sexual heinous acts against children. At least I think in California, or at least that's the knowledge I got. But so I thought it went to criminal court. Michael was found innocent, and then they tried to bring it up in civil court, and then it got thrown out of and then civil court was going to deny due to the lack of evidence and the fact that also it got thrown out of criminal court. But then they still kept coming after him, and then because they still kept coming, that the Michael's attorneys just said, pay the money because this is a waste of time and you have better things to do. Okay, that was the story I got. Well, Brandy Jackson says that it didn't go down like that, saying that it never went to court to begin with. That the criminal court said, or that there was a motion to make the criminal court actually be held after the civil court, and then the civil court almost went to trial, but the insurance company paid the $20 million as sort of okay, let's just settle and drop this, and let's all go on with our lives. And then the media took that as Michael saying, okay, I did it, but here's just stop fighting and go away, And, that's how she said the whole thing went down. Either way, Michael Jackson was innocent in the 93 case. But people keep wanting to rest their hat on that as proof that Michael Jackson did it, but he just got away with it because he's famous. And like, there's a lot of contradictions with that. And like I said, I'm not gonna make this video super detailed and go into all the details of it, because I do know a lot of the details and a lot of the contradictions and etc. and so forth. But basically, it's this: people love the '93 case because of all the little details that supposedly prove Michael Jackson guilty. But when you actually research the case, none of the stuff was substantiated in court. And like the silver bullet that like a lot of AKA researchers like to talk about in the '93 case was the whole Jordy Chandler describing Michael Jackson's genitalia to great accuracy lie. And I came across that because, there was this website, I'm not sure if it's around anymore, smokinggun.com, that had the affidavit of what Jordan Chandler described what happened. And they said he described Michael's penis in great detail and talked about there was a spot located here which proved that Michael Jackson touched him. And of course, Michael Jackson did submit to a full body search and had his privates photographed. And while there were splotches on Michael's penis, obviously because he had vitiligo, they actually did not line up with Jordy Chandler's description. And also Jordan Chandler said that Michael was circumcised, and then when Michael died, found out Michael wasn't circumcised. So it's like, okay, there's proof positive, but of course, that's 2009. I'm sorry. That's 2009 versus 1993. Hang on, I gotta hit some water real quick. Hang on. Goodness gracious, man. Alright, so anyway. That's 2009 versus 1993, but still, the fact that description never actually made it to court, and once it was found out that the description didn't match, that's why the court said we're not going to submit that in evidence, because of the photos that we have of Mr. Jackson's genitalia versus the description of the kid don't match, therefore it's clearly a lie. But it's funny how the news never picked that up and ran with it like they did everything else. It's like, oh, Jordy Chandler described Michael's penis, but Michael did it. And it's just like, but then you go to the court case, it's like, yeah, Michael's penis doesn't look like what Jordy Chandler said it did. And he basically just got a lucky guess saying there were splotches on Michael's penis. And that was as close as it got. But it's like, anybody could have guessed that. It's like, duh. And then we go to the 2000, and then because of all the whole 93 case, the FBI was following Michael Jackson for 10, 15 years, which overlaps the 2003 allegations with the 2005 court case. And it's like, if Michael was really having all these relationships with the kids, don't you think the FBI would have noticed that? Like the FBI definitely would have noticed, any inappropriate relationships going down with like them watching. And that definitely would have came out as soon as it went to the 2005 trial. And it didn't. Okay, now going back to Finding Neverland, it's like, when you look at the dates that Wade Robson and Jimmy Shafechuk say, they overlap the time of the 93 case and of the time that the FBI should have been watching Michael Jackson. And then when you look at their descriptions, and I haven't seen the documentary, so let me say that first. So, but I've seen enough interviews with other people, and I've heard enough people talk about it to where I know that this is actually in the documentary. But, when Michael's over here allegedly having these, little mock weddings and giving these little secret sexual gifts, like fake wedding rings and little trinkets and stuff like that. And it's like, are you serious? And then somebody else did a video where they actually showed how the Safechucks kept everything Michael touched with him, just dumb notes written on scrap paper, written on napkins. They recorded phone conversations, all this other stuff. But yet, it's like, okay, y'all kept all of that stuff, but then y'all didn't keep all of the evidence that Michael was molesting your son, or Jimmy didn't keep it because it was, Michael's supposed lover. And of course, yeah, Jimmy had, the fake wedding ring, but it's like, when you look at it, it's like if you're a Michael Jackson fan, like me, Michael buys stuff that's just all out, just outrageously exorbitant, over the top, just because, And then Jimmy pulls out this little ring that looks like some, I don't even know, it looked like something from a junkyard. I ain't gonna lie, it was like somebody took something kind of brassish from a junkyard, shined it up, and it was just like that's what it was. It's like, nah. Like, it's so because I saw the clip from Finding Neverland or Leaving Neverland of Jimmy pulling the ring out. And he's like, yeah, Michael gave this to me. I'm like, Michael didn't give that. I can tell you right now, Michael didn't give that. Michael would have gave you something that was like diamond studded, etc. and so forth. And then chances are your mom would have took that from you anyway. So like no, like don't sit here and tell me this little, crinkled up gum wrapper looking thing that you got is some wedding ring from Michael Jackson. Stop it, But I just want. I'm gonna wrap this up because, like I said, the evidence is out there. Michael didn't do it, and Jimmy Safe Chuck and Wade Robson stories overlap and don't cooperate with anything. And I'm not gonna go into all these. This is why the whole, sexual assault movement needs to, it needs to be scrutinized. And I'm sorry, damn the whole believe all or not all victims, because that means an actual crime was committed, but damn all of these. If someone says they were molested, they have to be believed. It's like, no, they don't. Like, and especially when it comes to people of high value and high provenance, because, and that's another thing that people don't want to admit that we got as a problem in this country, is that people want high status and high value, right? And when people have it, and when people are around people who have it, they want to be associated with it. And when they don't get it, they get a hair up their butt. And then they want to sit here and, make false accusations so that they can have some sort of fame and notoriety in and of themselves without actually working for it. Like that's really what it is. And I made this allusion, and I've made this reference before. Like, I've actually met real bona fide famous people. Actually, I'm at a point in my life now where, we have like a new generation of famous people. So when I say famous people, basically, if you're my age and older, you would know of these famous people. Young people probably don't. But because I mentioned an actress that was like super famous amongst my age group to somebody who's like a teenager, and they had no idea who I was talking about, and it's just like yep, time is definitely passing. But I've just seen how people act around famous people, and it's like you talk to them before they know that you're connected to somebody who's famous, and then when the famous person walks in, they act just completely out of pocket, and then when the famous person leaves, you can tell like they're on this high, and then they go back, and then they're just just so enamored by it, and it's like your average person doesn't know that that's like routine. Well, people who are around famous people on a consistent basis know that that's what's going on. But if you're around a famous person like before they're famous and they get famous, like you don't look at them as a famous person. You just look at them as whatever relationship you had with them. Whether it just be, platonic or in passing, or maybe that's your homeboy from back in high school or whatever. And you don't even look at them like that. Like I have a friend from high school who, I don't know if he'll be famous, but like he started Instagram and he has, I think maybe almost 100,000 followers, but like I remember that dude from back, and actually technically when we were like real young, like kindergarten, first grade, age group, and then we met, and then we kind of got reconnected back in middle school, then high school, and then now he's over here, he's like all over television, and he's on the red carpet, but to me he's always, old boy from back home, and we ran back into each other at this one event that I was working, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, what up, John? And it was just like, clearly our lives went in two different directions, but it was sort of just like, how you doing, man? He's like, oh, man, it's a hustle out here, but I love it. And, it's just, sometimes it gets really stressful because, you're kind of always on, but, it's like, hey, man, I'm living the dream, man. I really am. And it's like, oh, that's good, man. I told him some stuff I was doing with, trying to get some stuff done. And he was just like, man, that's really good, man. I was like, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well. I was like, yeah. And it's just like, he was like, all right, man, peace. I was like, yeah. He's like, I've been going. I flew in to do this, and, I'm ready to go sleep. I'm like, I understand, man. He's like, yeah, I fly back out to Cali in, like another, basically 16 hours or whatever it was. And it's just like, but see, to me, he's always the homie from, back home. Like I don't look at him as, I'm not going to say what he does, but I don't look at him as like, Mr. Red Carpet, it's like, nah, man, that's just my boy, and like that's how it is at those levels. So like when people accuse famous people of doing stuff, it's like you really gotta take it with a grain of salt. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Like if somebody's out there doing foul stuff, you don't want it to like slip through the cracks. But at the same time, it's like you also got to be aware that there's another side of that, And that's what it is with Michael Jackson. Like people keep trying to look at Michael Jackson like, what's one of the analogies, like Steve down the road. Or Leroy from the block, and it's just like Like Michael Jackson, especially at 93, was the most famous person in the world who was not a political figure. You know, it's just like, so saying that, like, oh, why would someone want Michael Jackson's money if they've been molested? And it's just like, hold on, hold. What makes you think that they were molested? Like it's like no. This is like the most famous musical artist in the world. You know, like this is like, let's bring it to today's 2019 times. This is like someone who is like, take Beyonce times 3. Like like, you know, and it's just like what do you mean? Like if some dude was walking around talking like, yeah, I was at a party with Beyonce and she drugged me and I'm suing Beyonce for $50 million in damages. It's like, who would believe that? I mean, aside from the whole, you know, misnomer that all guys always want sex. Like let's sit here and just say that, okay, women were notorious sex predators. Like, okay, Beyonce raped me, so I want $50 million. It's like, how many people would believe that, dude? It's like, yeah, right. It's like, yeah, you and everybody else, buddy. You know, it's like, it's the same way. But like, no, but because, again, Michael Jackson was weird, and everyone just goes along with it. And it's just like, wow. You know, it's just, wow. And people just have like no sense of like being able to filter information and take things into account. And maybe, again, it's because I've hung around famous people, so I know how people act around famous people, and people just act all sorts of crazy and say all sorts of things that would just drop your jaw, you know. But, you know, I guess, you know, as one dude in this interview said, like, these people who live out in flyover country, who the most exciting thing that they look at is, you know, 2 elk fighting over a female. It's like, yeah, like, of course they'll believe it, because they don't know any better. They're not, you know, around these, you know, situations, and they don't hang around these circles. So, of course, you know, they'll believe whatever they're told because they're ignorant. You know, and sadly enough, to be quite honest with you, people who do live in these big cities are just as ignorant and, quite frankly, stupid, in my opinion, as the flyover country people. And, you know, I try to explain some of these things to people like, no, y'all don't understand what famous people have to deal with. It's like, no, famous people, it's not like they just walk down the street and, you know, okay, a couple of people may recognize who they are and they want to shout out an autograph, and then they just go about their business. It's like, no, like, these people, like, they just can't do certain things. It's like, if they go to Walmart, it's like, no, it's not like, oh, I'm going to sign a couple autographs, let me grab, you know, a couple toiletries that I came here for, that I'm out of here. It's like, no. It's like, they walk in the door, someone says, hey, there's so-and-so, and then they have a crowd, and then they literally cannot move. Like that, like, that's why they have other people do things for them, because, like, they just can't go out and do it, you know? And it's like, it's like unless you're around it, you just don't know, you know? And that's why, like, when I analyze my history when it comes to dealing with or being around famous people, it's like yeah, like, I just don't believe it's like, oh, Michael Jackson touched me, and the only way I'm going to get over it is if I have $20 million and a movie deal. So it's like, what? It's like, no, no. Like, I've been around those circles. I know exactly what it is. If someone truly molested you and you came out against it with a famous person, like, it depends what your motivations are. Like, if you say that so-and-so molested me, and then, like, it's one of those things of, like, oh, well, how much are you asking for? They're like, no, I don't want anything. And they truly don't want anything. I'm going to try to, you know, take a moral high ground, you know, because I really want just notoriety, or I'm trying to write a book later and get a deal from that. Like, no, somebody who's, like, legitimate, you know, so-and-so molested me. You know, like, those people are, like, you know who those people are. Because it's like, no amount of money, no book deal, no movie deal, no cameo appearance with another famous person is enough, you know. And the thing is like, they really don't go that hard in the paint. Like, to be quite honest with you, like, they'll sit here and say, this is what happened, this is my story, here are the receipts, you can believe me if you want to, but it is what it is. And then, you know, the handlers for famous people will be like, what do you want? Do you want $20 million? Do you want $50 million? Hey, how about we give you a book deal? Here, all right, how about this? Stop talking and you'll get this. For, you know, like, don't get me wrong. Famous people do have handlers who take care of situations like that. But the reason why they have people who take care of situations like that is because there's so many people out there trying to do it. Like, if a handler comes up to you and they're immediately like, it's like, all right, do you want $20 million? Do you want $30 million? It's like, yeah, it's because so many people are making up lies that can destroy somebody just because they want $20 million or $30 million or a book deal or a movie cameo or a movie spot. Like that's what they do. You know, like, people just have no idea how Hollywood actually works, and it's really a head scratcher, because famous people say all the time how Hollywood actually works, and people just like, they either ignore it or they just choose to be naive or whatever. But anyway, I'm not gonna harp on this anymore. But like, just Michael Jackson's innocent, man. Like, let the man rest, right? Like, enjoy his music, enjoy his dancing, enjoy his performance, enjoy his music videos, and enjoy the great things that he's done. Like, the evidence is out there that he's innocent, and this is just a shame what Jimmy Safechuck and Wade Robson are doing, because it's like, just because y'all's lives failed and other people's didn't, who Michael gave them the hookup with, are you really gonna go that low? It's like, especially Wade Robson. It's like, dude, you hung around Michael all of your life, more or less. Because like Wade Robson supposedly started hanging around Michael in like 90, 91, and then was there with him all the way up until he died. And then a couple years after he died, now all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, Michael Jackson touched me, and this, that, and the third. And it's like, it's funny how he came out and said that after the Cirque du Soleil deal didn't go right, after his a couple movies he tried to get done didn't go right, and it's just like, dude, those are just failed business deals. That's not like Michael Jackson's fault, and he didn't lead you on to believe this stuff. Like, like again, the videos are out there, about how, Wade's story is inconsistent and Jimmy's story is inconsistent and all this other stuff. But, Michael Jackson innocent. Let the man rest. But anyway, that's my video. John from XY Rising.